Come with us on a journey into the unknown, the unexplained, and the unbelievable. We will test your senses and challenge your beliefs. A world where science and religion clash. Or do they? You will meet real people and hear real stories, but you will not believe. You will witness strange sights and hear strange sounds, but you will not believe. This is the New England Ghost Project. Welcome to the nightmare.
Guten Morgen, Fräulein. Welcome to Ghost Chronicles Morning Edition.
What was Guten Morning? What was that word?
Guten Morgen.
No, you said Fräulein or
Fräulein, I don't know.
Okay. Fräulein? Were you going for Fräulein?
It could probably
be.
Are
you teaching me a new German word?
It could probably be that word you said. Yeah.
Fräulein?
Fräulein,
yeah.
Fräulein. Oh, Fräulein, I can understand how it... Never mind. Moving right along. You're listening to Ghost Chronicles Morning Edition right here on the Net New England Talks and also on TogiNet.
TogiNet. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify.
We on Amazon?
I don't know. I'm not handling the podcast end of this. TogiNet is.
What?
I don't handle the podcast end of the audio-only podcast end of Ghost Chronicles.
Yeah, we're on Amazon.
Yeah.
They don't do it. I do.
Amazon and Audible.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, you go on Amazon. They're on Audible automatically. Yeah. Audible is the old Intercom.
I have no idea.
And they used to be Intercom. So everybody's got the Audible app. So if you get the Audible app, you can hear us.
Not that you want to, but
yeah.
I tell you, the show that's doing the best right now is the international show, believe it or not, which shocks me because that was always like the poor relationship of the ménage à trois.
Hey, but, Steve Parsons is a star.
Yeah, don't put it on him. I don't think so.
No?
No. The one common denominator is me. Remember that.
That's true.
So anyways, that, of course, is the Professor Lou Balassi, the smartest guy I know.
Yeah, okay. As I said before the show, follow me around for a day. You'll find out how smart I am.
Yeah. So I love to look at those things, what happened on this day. And today, by the way, is St. Jan's birthday. So happy birthday to the
Jan.
Love of my life. In the words of Orleans, you're still the one.
I sent her a note this morning and said, make sure you take her somewhere nice.
She won't even be out of bed until she doesn't get up till 10.
Well, it's earlier than mine.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
She's still living on West Coast time.
Oh, God, no. Yeah. I get up at 6. She gets up 10. And she wonders why if I go to bed like at 10 o'clock or something. You're going to bed so early. It's like, yeah, I was up 4 hours before you.
Yeah. I've had those conversations too.
Yeah, we are a lot alike, aren't we?
We are a lot alike. It's scary how much we're alike.
Yeah. So anyways, there's a whole pile of stuff that happened these days. I love looking at that.
Mm-hmm. On this day
stuff, yeah.
September 20th.
Yeah, but there was a lot of baseball things that, because we are getting towards the playoffs, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're going to have some fun sometime before we get into this.
Yeah.
Google Florida man and your birth date or today's date.
Really?
Yeah, you get all the, the Florida crazy stories.
Yeah.
Of people doing stupid things. There's something
in Florida?
Like every day. Yeah. There's something like every day.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So in 1905, Cleveland in the American League made 7 errors in one inning.
1975?
05.
Oh, 05.
05. Might be before you were born. 7 in one inning.
You may not have had gloves in 05. I don't know.
Yeah.
Plus, God knows what the infield looked like.
Yeah.
It's look like the Red Sox on occasion here.
Yeah, I guess so. There's a couple I want to get. The New York Yankees, our favorite team, the 1911 Yanks, set the team record for 12 errors in a doubleheader.
Wow.
How can you commit 12 freaking errors?
I wouldn't give my Little League team ice cream. They committed 12 errors.
1919 baseball slugger Babe Ruth ties Ned Williamson's MLB mark of 27 home runs with a 9th inning blast in the Red Sox 4-3 win over the Chicago White Sox.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Is our boys.
Yep.
What else we got? Sad though. 1922, St. Louis Cardinals famed infielder Rogers Hornsby ends his 33-game hitting streak. It happens. All good things come to an end, right?
So this isn't just an on this day, and there's so much baseball stuff. Or
I
is
know.
this
I
a
was.
baseball on this day?
No, it's just on this day, and I was amazed. Kyle Mays is the first pitcher to win 20 games, to win 20 game seasons for 3 different teams.
Okay.
In 1924.
All right.
And that's
that'll never happen again.
Yeah. Oh, 1926. It has nothing to do with baseball. Bugs Moran attempted to assassinate Al Capone. That's an interesting one. I'd love to be there for that one.
Bugs.
Yeah. Wow. There's 2 beauties. That's all I can say. What else we got before I go?
You want Florida Man, September 20th?
Yeah, give it to me.
I can.
So they have Florida Woman for 20. See what my wife's up to.
I'll read the headlines, and if you want to get into one, we'll get into one.
All right. Yeah, we'll do that because
September 20th, 2020. So last year.
Ooh, yeah.
Florida man arrested after girl hit with a flat flagpole during. The headline got cut off there.
What?
Florida man arrested after girl hit with flagpole during street corner pro-Trump rally. So a girl got hit with a flag.
Oh, you know what that's all about.
Yeah. September 20th, 2018, neighbors complained about a Florida man doing yard work naked.
What's the problem?
Don't know.
Hey, okay. Before you can go on to anything else, what's your thought about freaking nudism? I mean, let's put it this way: if there was no stigmas or anything else, would you walk around nude?
Would I?
Yes.
No. No, I would not.
Why?
Self-conscious.
Is it self-consciousness?
Yeah.
What about pure cleanliness?
Oh, cleanliness?
Huh?
Yeah.
Would you want a freaking naked person sitting down on your couch?
No.
Okay.
Good point. Well,
as
always, it depends on the person, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, let's keep your Saturday nights out of this.
No, the whole nudity thing is like it's overrated. Like you go to a nude beach and then you get, people like me walking around.
And would you like freaking things? I mean, you go to the beach, right? You're new to the beach. You get sand in parts of the body you never knew you had.
Yeah, who needs that, right?
I don't want that.
Plus,
you got mosquitoes out there biting your whatever.
Sunburn.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's your boat, let it float. But it's. I have no clue why would you even do it. I mean, I wouldn't even walk around inside my house totally naked.
No.
I mean, for extended periods of time, we've all walked around our house naked at one time or another. I'm sure.
Would you consider like a nudist community or something like that? I mean, again, it's just.
And I mean, let's face it. When you go on a scale of 1 to 100, just 100 people. If you took 100 people randomly, how many would you like to see naked?
Out of 100,
generally
speaking?
Yeah.
1 or 2.
So here's your homework for today. 100 people, you count the 100 people, and every time you see a person, you decide whether you know what
I want to see them naked or not. Yeah,
I want to hear that from everybody. All right. So are we going too bad with 100? I think that's a fair grouping, don't you? 100.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is a lot of work, though. People will do
the next 10 people you see.
Okay. Yeah. Here's the thing, and we want this from and let me know. I mean,
we're 0 for 2 in this room.
Yeah, that's for sure.
The next 10 people
we can both agree.
Yeah.
So whoever listens to the show at any time, right? Because it's on podcasts everywhere. After the show is over, the next 10 people, just determine in your little mind, little mind up there.
Would you like to see them naked?
Would you like to see them naked or not?
What do you think the odds are? What do you think?
I bet you there'll be a lot of 0 for 10s.
There'd be a lot of 0 for 10s.
I bet you there will be.
Walking on the street, yeah. There'll be a lot of
that's what I mean. 10s. I mean, talking everyday life. We're not talking, anything else. Everyday life. We leave the studio, go out, count 10 people, and
Yep.
I'm pretty much sure that if I walk out of this building and meet 10 people, I'm not seeing anybody naked. No offense. No, I mean, I don't know everyone in the building as much as you do, so I'm not casting any aspersion on all persons working in this building. But the group that I work with, I certainly don't want to see Pat naked.
I'm just not going to answer this question.
Good thing.
Not going to get involved in this call.
Your job's on the line.
Yeah. Nope. This will go straight to HR. I'm not getting into this at all.
So, I mean, yeah. So that's a think about it. Anybody want to, and you can message us.
Do it another way. Do you think? What are the odds that just going around today, you'll come across 10 people that you would like to see naked?
Well, that's not fair.
That's not fair.
No, because it depends who your activities are for the day.
True.
Yeah. So, I mean.
So the next 10 people you see.
Next 10 people say, just let us know and let it go at that. I mean, should we.
And with discount family.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely discount family.
Yeah.
So should we do it gender sensitive?
Gender sensitive?
Yeah. So next, for instance, if you were a straight guy, we have to. Would you be the next 10 women? Would you like to see naked, or just in general?
Just in general.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I'm good with that.
Just let it flow.
Let it. Okay. So there you go. There's your homework.
September 20th. September 20th.
How do we ever give?
2020. I would just explain. This is a fun thing to do.
Oh, yes, fun thing to do.
Florida man gets probation for picking up and transporting 41 turtles.
Well, at least you got probation.
100 hours of community service. Court costs.
Of what, putting turtles back?
100 hours of community service, pay court costs, and make a $250 donation to the Wildlife Alert Fund after pleading guilty to one count of taking or possessing more than one turtle per day and one count of transporting more than one turtle or eggs.
What? You allowed one turtle per day?
Clemens was behind the wheel of a pickup truck stopped in May by deputies at Charlotte County Sheriff's Office after he ran a stop sign.
All right, boy, pull over.
At 3:30 a.m. around Punta Gorda.
Say that what?
He ran a
stop
sign. Punta Gorda.
Punta Gorda.
Yeah. Clemens told deputy he and his 25-year-old passenger, Ariel Machin-Laquire,
easy for you to say,
were collecting frogs and snakes under an overpass. You need to go deeper. He gave deputies permission to search the bags in the truck. When the deputy found 41 three-striped turtles in a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle backpack.
How apropos.
He asked the woman if she had anything else. She pulled out a 1-foot gator from her yoga pants.
I assume she wasn't wearing them.
I don't know.
How do you keep a gator in a yoga pants? Well, they kind of like stretchable, right?
Well, if the cops, you got to stash the gator. I don't know if my yoga pants is where I'd put it.
I mean, how much time do you have to stash? How big is the gator?
I don't know. I don't.
And her yoga pants. I don't know about that. They get the like claws and stuff like that.
Florida man arrested after pooping. This is all at September 3rd. Oh, not September 3rd. I'm sorry. They're on to different dates here.
Oh, shame on them.
Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, so that's a good daily activity for you.
So it's against a lot of poop in Florida, evidently.
I don't know.
Well, okay. There you go. But anyways, yeah. So at least we know it's okay to take one turtle a day in Florida.
They're out at 3 a.m. collecting turtles and snakes under an overpass.
Oh, was it 3 a.m?
Yep. Collecting turtles and snakes under an overpass.
Maybe they were making
a relationship I want.
Maybe they were going to open up a roadside attraction.
Maybe.
I don't know. Come see the live alligator in my yoga pants.
On TikTok last night, I saw a kid in the water.
Why are you watching TikTok?
I love TikTok.
Oh, you're so sad.
I know. It's the biggest time suck on the planet Earth.
Oh,
it'll make 45 minutes go just like that.
Mm-hmm.
There was this kid. He was in the water off the back of his boat. He's like 10, 11, maybe 9, 10, 11, somewhere in that range. And he's floating in the water, and you can see beyond him the eyes of an alligator.
Oh, jeez.
Right? Like about 10, 15 feet beyond him. And he's throwing food at the alligator. So I don't know what happened there. And then it cut when the alligator submerged. So I don't know if the kid got it. No,
Once again, I hope he wasn't naked.
really doesn't matter because
Well, you don't know.
TikTok
You
didn't last that long.
leave that bait hanging down, you're in trouble.
Thank God we don't have alligators.
Although there may be shrinkage, I don't know.
Thank God. I mean, we get a lot of problems in New England, but we don't have. We have some snakes, but not a lot.
We do have the occasional alligator.
What? Oh, an escapee or a sewer alligator or something like that.
Well, not so much sewer alley, but yeah, we have the occasional.
Did you ever watch Northwoods Law?
No, you come up. What, do you have a life?
I do. I have a life.
Spend all your time on TV and TikTok.
No, not all my time.
Okay.
I'm just up late at night and I float through stuff. There's only so many episodes of Baywatch you can watch. Northwoods Law is a reality show based on these wildlife officers in New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I got sucked into it is because I know all the places they went. They're in these towns in New Hampshire going. And there was one episode where someone put up a picture on Facebook of their alligator. And so they had to run this thing down because apparently it's illegal to own an alligator in New Hampshire.
Yeah. There you go.
What happened to Live Free or Die?
Did they get him?
Yep, they found him. It's like a 4.5-foot alligator. It wasn't huge. But
Yeah, I know. It's still the point of the thing. Some places you can. I mean, you can own whatever you want. They own wild animals and everything.
And I forget the details. I should bring
like
this up. But
lions and tigers.
They ran down somebody in Great Bay in the Piscataqua River and taking some sort of fish that apparently is very expensive. I don't know.
Taking fish in the river?
I can't remember. Not fish, really. They were kind of
capturing them.
Not eels. Yeah, small, capturing them because apparently they're worth a ton of money. But I can't remember the details of it.
Slimy fish are worth money?
Yeah, there's something going on.
Something going on.
And I forget. God.
Well, we weren't going down this road. Unfortunately, we did. But is that right? I can't. And I was watching news. They had, I think it was in Minnesota. They had zebra walking down the road.
Minnesota?
Yeah, Minnesota or Michigan, one of the M states.
Where did it come from?
I don't know.
Who owned a zebra?
Zebras.
Zebras.
Yeah.
Plural. Well,
yeah.
You don't want your zebra to be lonely.
Yeah. It's zebras, like bras, right? And that would be thing. It wouldn't be like zebros.
I'm guessing not. I don't really know.
Zebra.
I don't know.
I don't know. I was actually shot for a brassiere, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to make that perfectly clear. But anyway. All right. So, this is interesting. You got something more? Or?
I'm trying to find the
what? The zebra or the
eels?
Oh, the eels.
New controls in Maine promote poaching of valuable eels. Maine's lucrative baby eel industry will likely face tighter controls this year. Baby eels, called elvers, are an important part of the worldwide supply of chain for Japanese food. Maine fishermen harvest.
The freaking Japanese eat everything.
I know, right? God. Maine fishermen harvest them from rivers and streams every spring, and they're typically worth more than $1,000 per pound.
What?
No other U.S. state has a significant elver fishery, but poaching has dogged the industry. Last year's season was shut down by state regulators 2 weeks early after investigators unearthed concerns about illegal sales. So these eels are worth $1,000 per pound, and they're just floating in these rivers.
You just like that's wrong in so many different levels. By the way, first of all,
okay, yeah, I want a partial list.
First of all, who would pay $1,000 for a pound of liver?
The Japanese.
Second of all, why are the Japanese paying $1,000 for a pound of eel?
Because you can only get them in Maine. Apparently, they can't just go out to their local tributary and fish for eels.
You can get a freaking ribeye for a whole lot cheaper.
I'm with you all the way.
But these are the same people that eat poisonous fish that can kill them if they're not prepared properly. So why does it not surprise me?
Hey, people eat veggie burgers.
And third of all,
you can't explain what people eat.
Yeah, but third of all, fourth of all, or whatever all it is I got stragged up in the third and fourth of all. I can't remember what the hell I was going to say.
Yes.
So
who's paying $1,000 for these eels?
Yes, and where the hell they get the money?
I don't know. People have money. They're not all people are like us.
They're Japanese.
So what? They have money.
We beat them in World War II.
Yes, but we buy a lot of stuff from the Japanese.
And then we built their economy.
We built their economy. That's exactly right.
I actually got a little thing, a little ceramic thing for my mom that says, made in occupied Japan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll tell you the joke in 1941, the movie 1941.
No.
The 1941 is a John Belushi movie.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's about this attack on Los Angeles that never happened. But anyway, there was a Japanese sub in the movie, and they are cruising the coast, and they see this guy in a cabin on the coast looking at them through binoculars. So they got to go get him so he won't tell anybody. So they go and get the guy. They get in a boat off the submarine, and they go get him, and he won't leave without his radio. And it's one of those big cathedral radios.
Oh, geez, yeah.
So they bring it along with them, and they put the guy in the porthole, for the sub, and they're trying to get the cathedral radio down, and it won't fit in the hole. And one Japanese guy says something to the other guy in Japanese, and the subtitle says, "We got to figure out a way to make these things smaller." And I was like, I was under the seat. Nobody else in the room got it. It's just like, I'm under the seat.
Yeah. Japanese radios, right? Yep. Japanese transistor radios. That was the big, that was a big thing back in the day. I remember I got one for my birthday. It was like the biggest thing in the world.
Transistor radio?
Yeah.
God.
It was nice. I got it for my birthday. It was about this big. It was back in the early days. And it was a nice one. I put it on the roof of the car while I was playing basketball, and the basketball hit it and knocked it over and broke it. First day.
My cousin and I playing tennis on summer nights with the Red Sox game on. With the transistor radio in the corner of the tennis
transistor.
Court.
I remember crystals. Crystals were. I had a crystal radio when I was a little kid. It was like a rocket ship. It was shaped like a little rocket ship. And you just took the top off, and you could do your little crystal thing.
My mother made crystals for Western Electric.
Oh,
that was
cool.
her thing.
Yeah. There you go.
She used to bring home stuff.
Stuff is good.
I don't know where we'd ever use these raw crystals, but
anyway.
Yep.
In 1951, the first North Pole jet crossing.
Oh, okay.
Which brings me to today's topic.
All right, excellent. Yeah. It's about time.
Well, we might as well take a break before we get into it. And when we come back, we're going to learn a little bit more about First Ride.
Did say take a break, right?
I heard voices.
Yeah.
You're listening to Ghost Chronicles Morning Edition right here on the Net, New England Talks. And we're at TojiNet and everybody else. Yep. So we'll be back following messages.
Even places we don't know yet.
Oh, sure.
Yep.
I'm sure.
All right.
Bye.
Do you have a paranormal event, book, or something else you want people to know about? Then why not advertise it on Ghost Chronicles Radio? With over 150,000 downloads a month, get your message out to an audience that's interested in the subject. We have a plan at a cost that fits your needs. For more information, contact Ron Kolick at anyghostproject@comcast.net or call 978-455-6678. Are you seeing a ghostly apparition every time you look in the mirror? Are you terrified to realize that pale, lifeless, lack of energy form hovering before you is in fact you? How would you like to be transformed? Healing begins from within, and it's never too late to start feeling good. Are you curious? Interested? Good. Don't wait another minute. Visit transformyourlifenow.org or contact Maureen. The email address is maureen@transformyourlife.org.
Everyone is cashing in on social media, and all marketing roads lead through social media. If you want to make a splash here in the Merrimack Valley, you need to tap in. This is where the new CEM podcast studios come in. Of course, you can spend your time, energy, and money learning how to wrangle technology to make a podcast instead of running your business. Or you can invest in telling everyone in the Merrimack Valley, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine, the Seacoast, or everywhere in the world about your great business, product, service, or yourself. The CEM Podcast Studio is a local audio and video studio dedicated to the craft of podcasts. Their studios feature state-of-the-art recording and mixing equipment designed specifically to produce the best audio and video podcasts. Best of all you need to worry about is your show, your business, and your brand. We do the rest. Call 978-686-9966. That's 978-686-9966 to schedule a no-obligation tour of the CEM facilities and meet with a podcast specialist. Or go to CEMpodcast.com to find out more about podcasting services. CEMpodcast.com, your window to the world.
Welcome back to Ghost Chronicles Morning Edition, heard Mondays at 11 on all these outlets that you're hearing us on with your hosts, New England's own Van Helsing, Ron Kohler.
And I want to give a shout out to Tom Spitaleri, who's listening to the show.
And Tom's with us today.
Yeah. So anyways, before I get into North Pole, I'm
the
looking...
first jet flyover in 1951 on this date.
Yeah, but there's a little bit more than that. There's something strange going on.
Okay.
Something very strange. Anyway, I'm looking for participants in a psychological study.
Uh-oh.
It does not matter in your own particular beliefs in the paranormal or whether you believe in it at all. It requires no skills, and you can be in any part of the world, and it requires absolutely little effort. And
sounds like a Democratic primary.
And if you're interested in participating, you can message me or Ronald Kolick on Facebook or on our page, whatever page we're on, Morning Edition. Mm-hmm. Or you can email me at neghostproject@comcast.net, neghostproject@comcast.net. So we're looking for participants for a psychological study. And so if you want to be part of something that actually counts, you can do this. Also, I do want to mention before I forget.
Wait a second, do we get an idea of what the study is?
No, you can't.
Oh, you can't?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. Yeah, there's no details, and it requires very little effort, really. And anybody can do it, really. So it takes little time, requires little effort, and it doesn't matter what you believe in, what you don't believe in. So we're just looking for participants.
Yep.
And there you go. There is no monetary value involved in it as well. So also within 2 weeks, Spirit Quest, I think this is our 10th or 11th Spirit Quest up at Groveland is occurring. And that you can find out all the details at neghostproject.com. So neghostproject.com, check out Spirit Quest. Friday night we have Chinese food in a murder mystery theater with a ghost in it. And then we have speakers all day on Saturday and Saturday night ghost hunt. And on Sunday we have the science in something or other. It's a whole thing on table tipping. It's an afternoon event. So there you go. So you can check that out at neghostproject.com. You can sign up for the weekend or any one of the particular events you want to sign up for.
Excellent.
So there you go. Got that out of the way. I'm feeling much better now, there, Lou.
All right. What's happening at the North Pole?
Yeah. So what do you think? I mean, I know how you stand on flat earthers, right?
Yeah.
Right. You believe in flat earthers?
No, I do not. I'm not a flat earther.
What about a hollow earther?
Hollow Earth?
Hollow Earth.
With civilizations inside?
Hollow Earth, yes.
Hollow Earth? No. I don't believe in that.
No, why is that, Lou?
Well,
are you listening to Fauci again?
I'm listening to Fauci. I was just going to say, what the science tells us.
No,
I don't. I don't know.
Well,
it just doesn't seem plausible to me.
You ever hear of U.S. Rear Admiral Richard Evelyn Byrd?
Admiral Byrd, Rear Admiral Byrd. Sure.
Admiral Byrd.
Yep. Went to the North Pole.
That's right. And in 1947, he led an expedition into the center of the Earth.
Did he?
From the North Pole. Byrd discovered a huge base with animals, plants previously thought to be extinct. These animals include mammoth-like creatures. Byrd wrote in his diary that it was unbelievable to see a valley full of green trees and a stream flowing through the valley. This is the North Pole. and it should be the world ruled by snow and ice.
He took peyote on his trip to the North Pole.
He did not.
Okay.
Byrd also discovered a huge flying saucer base
Ooh.
in which there were superhumans with supernatural powers and a high level of technology. I think they were Germans. I could be wrong.
Now the Nazis are on the moon.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
These mysterious beings told him that an underground world called Ariani, Arianni, that's the world he was in. They had no wish to contact the people from the outside world till the U.S. dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan.
Oh, I see.
Realizing that
That kind of woke him up.
realizing that weaponry possessed by humankind are likely to destroy the entire world, they thus sent flying vehicles to interact with military superpowers, but they did not get much response. The same year, Byrd attended a staff meeting for the U.S. Department of Defense. He gave details in the reports of discoveries to President Truman. He also accepted the investigation.
His retirement was 10 minutes later.
Truman, talking about, he also accepted investigation of the highest security department and a medical team that was instructed to keep all information confidential. He followed the order, but wrote in his diary, "The land in the North Pole and the base is a huge mystery." On December 24th, day before Christmas, 1965, Byrd's diary went public. It aroused interest in that an exploration of the center of the earth would. In 2015, former CIA technician and analyst Edward Snowden, you remember that name? Released cigarettes of aliens in the center of the earth. He revealed that they lived in the earth's mantle under the crust and above the core, and that the U.S. was in contact with them and even reached certain secret agreements.
I see.
Keep going. There's more. As early as 25 years.
This is all from Admiral Byrd's diary, or?
Well, this is beyond Admiral Byrd's diary
so
now.
this is other sources of information.
Yeah, but the diary is the one that talked about the base. And early as 25 years ago, NASA disclosed that they received a radio signal from the center of the Earth. These signals indicated the existence of more advanced civilization world underground. In 1990, go ahead.
Okay, review that for me. NASA said,
and as early as 25 years ago. I don't know when this was written.
Okay, so 1990.
I don't know.
6.
Yeah, I don't know when this was published. To be honest with you, I didn't see it right.
90s.
NASA disclosed that they received radio signals from the center of the Earth. These signals indicated the existence
Top 40,
of more advanced
classic rock. What was it?
I think it was Ghost Chronicles.
Maybe.
I'm just saying.
If they have podcasts, we're on there somehow.
You ever see that one? Remember Bin Laden? Remember him?
Yep.
And he was disappeared into the mountains.
Yep.
And they got a picture of him watching his crappy TV.
Yes.
Yeah. I had Lisa put the picture of the Ghost Chronicles logo on the TV.
Very good.
Yeah. Anyway, so in 1995, Canadian Weekly World News, titled "NASA Received Radio Signals Coming from the Inside of the Earth," predicted that the Earth, from the inside of the Earth, predicted that the center of the Earth is hollow. Okay, I read that. I'm not a very good reader.
Yeah.
Scientists learned that the signals were complex mathematical codes and therefore confirmed that there was certainly intelligent life there.
I see.
If we follow these 3 elements, sunlight, air, and water, for life, how will life survive in the center of the Earth? There were media reports that covered the underground world, described the people with supernatural powers, and they traveled over 220 kilometers down the ground and reached the center of the Earth. Upon arriving, they were stunned to see a highly developed and highly civilized geocentric world. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Comparing the Earth to an egg, the process of human exploration towards the center of the Earth is less than 1/10 of its shell. While many people thought the Earth's core was full of magma, this article might be full of something else.
Yeah.
Magma is within 200 kilometers from the surface, so it's quite a ways down. It is reported that beings in the center of Earth are not aggressive as humans. Can we all get along?
Yeah. We're horrible people.
Yeah. Anyway, is there an end to this article? It was reported that beings of oh no, we already did that. People with supernatural abilities said that the lives in the place they have traveled to look like Chinese with yellow skin, with a population of 1.5 million. However, the total population of the center of the Earth ranges in the tens of millions.
I see.
More than the entire surface.
Are they vaccinated? Should we be
I
contacting
was
these
just
people?
wondering that, maybe that's where it came from. Did you think of that?
You never know.
Let's see if there's anything that I need to bring up, or if I have just touched everything. There are reportedly tall buildings at the center of the Earth. The highest floor is 590 floors,
Wow.
or about 1,900 meters high. Languages used are similar to ours. There is Chinese and English-like language.
Are they humanoid? Are they kind of like us?
Yeah, they can often travel on the ground in a very similar appearance to human. Thus, humans cannot tell them apart.
Oh, so they might be among us.
I mean, I do have to admit it. I was born in the center of the Earth. I didn't want to say anything, but since this is out, I may as well come clean.
So like every other alien in the universe, they might be among us now.
They probably are.
Yeah.
Those with supernatural abilities
I
also
think I've
said,
dated several of them.
said it is difficult to enter the center of the Earth using current human technology. There are, in fact, secret passages between the center of Earth and the ground. They are hidden in inaccessible places and are not easily discoverable. So there you go. What do you think?
No, I'm not buying it at all.
Not at all?
Not at all.
What about Admiral Byrd's?
I don't know what was going on with the good admiral, but
Steve believes in Admiral Byrd. We have discussed this on the International Show.
Steve believes there's a civilization in the center of the Earth.
He believes that Admiral Byrd believes what he saw.
That's not an answer.
Yes, it is. That's a Steve answer. If you really know Steve, you know that. Do you believe in ghosts? I believe people see ghosts. I believe people believe they see ghosts.
People believe the Earth is flat.
Yes.
People believe Biden is a good president. People believe things. I don't deny their belief. I just deny their reality.
So, I mean, we've got all these new release files from the Air Force on Navy. Was it Navy?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's chat about that for a second.
Okay, let's chat about that for a
What
second.
was actually revealed in those files? There are things flying out there. We don't know what they are.
Pretty much.
It doesn't say they're alien. There's no information in that release. There's just some
crappy pictures,
crappy videos
mm-hmm.
of something moving. It's totally overblown. There was nothing in there. If you sit down and look at it,
I don't know. If you go on the Netflix channel, you can find out all the evidence.
Go to Gaia. Go to the Gaia channel, and they'll give you all the evidence.
You can always talk to the guy that's got the hair from like the Harkonians did.
That guy.
And do
that guy. He's never turned down a check, has he?
No.
He just does everything. He's on every show.
Yeah.
That's what I get all the time. Go watch Gaia. They'll tell you about the UFOs.
What is Gaia?
It's a
Do I really want to know?
Online channel. If you got Roku, you can probably find it, or online you can find it. But their whole premise is based on some of this paranormal, ancient civilizations, stuff like that. Aliens that taught us, whatever the hell he taught us.
Because we're stupid, basically.
Yeah.
We could never evolve. It's impossible.
Give me a someone without skin in the game who will tell you that there are people in the middle of the earth, or, I guess Admiral Byrd would be there. But on Gaia, I actually watched this, right? There was a show on ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
And they were talking along, and they were looking at these hieroglyphics they were trying to make the case that ancient Egyptians had electricity.
Yeah.
They were talking about things that look like resistors and the hieroglyphics and stuff like that.
That's the problem.
And the guy literally said, do we know the ancient Egyptians didn't have electricity? No, we don't know that. And I goes, I'm not a scientist, but I'm pretty sure the ancient Egyptians didn't have electricity.
In reality, I wouldn't be surprised if they
had
had some form of electricity, because
static electricity.
We know the Babylonians had the Babylonian battery, which is, and you know, when we've talked about this before, that rudimentary science, you've made potato batteries before,
sure,
right? So I mean, it's not like totally unbelievable, but just because they had electricity, and we discovered how to do potato batteries and Babylonian batteries. Why is it not impossible that they had some type of electricity? I'm not saying what.
What did the Babylonians do with the Babylonian battery?
I don't
quote
know.
unquote battery.
Maybe you work a vibrator. I don't know. The hell do I know?
I mean, this all has to make sense somehow. What was going on in ancient Egypt that they needed electricity for?
I don't know, Lou.
Let alone whether they had it or not. What the hell did they need it for?
Yeah, but don't we have...
Were they running air conditioners? What were they doing?
They had all the 10,000 slaves to do the fanny thing. How do you spell Babylon?
Baby L-O-N.
B-A-B-A.
Baby L-O-N. B-A-B-Y-L-O-N.
Is it Y? B-A-B-Y.
It's Babylon.
B-A-T-T-E-R.
What are we looking up here in this?
Babylonian Battery. Is the Babylonian battery the first thing? This is really cool. Yeah. So let's take a look at this and see what the Babylonian battery is. The first electrochemical. I mean, that's what it is. It's electrochemical, right?
Yeah.
It's not produced by generators or anything. See, and they actually get a picture of it. Can you see that picture of it?
Yes.
Yeah. So you got a little view of it, and it looks like a battery. I'm sure you have cutting batteries before. Yeah. I mean, who hasn't? Any kid? The GMT attended last week the Bay Area Battery Summit at the Stanford Linear Accelerator Center. It witnessed. There's a place you'd love to be, right?
Where?
Wouldn't you love to go to this conference, the Bay Area Battery Summit at the Stanford Linear Accelerator Center?
Oh, yeah, sounds like a blast.
And witnessed a presenter, whose name shall remain anonymous, claimed without reservation that the first battery was an electrochemical cell and was about 2,500 years old. It was supposedly discovered in Mesopotamia, archaeological dig near Baghdad, or possibly the basement of the Bad Dag Museum. Yeah. It was the first one, the Bad Dag Battery.
Koenig was forced to return to Austria in February 1939 due to health problems. In 1940, he published a book in German titled Nerjar Arik, which he speculated the object he'd seen in Baghdad might have been a primitive ancient battery. Koenig argued that maybe batteries like this one, and their batteries is in quote, had been used in ancient Mesopotamia for electroplating. He tried to support his hypothesis by noting several ancient Mesopotamian artifacts he had seen were made of silver coated with a very thin layer of gold. Koenig argued that these artifacts might have been plated using electroplating. Modern archaeologists, however, now generally agree that the objects seen by Koenig were not in fact electroplated at all, but rather fire-gilded using mercury. Therefore, no known examples can be reliably shown electroplating. Despite that fact, Koenig's main piece of evidence has now been invalidated, his hypothesis becoming wildly popular around New Agers who are convinced that batteries are technological remnants from Atlantis.
See, that's where
Gifts brought by aliens.
Here we go.
Yeah. His hypothesis is also unfortunately becoming popular among popular science writers who are eager to show off examples of advanced alien technology. And has even wormed its way into textbooks on electricity.
I'm not going that way. I am not going that way saying that it's brought to us by the freaking aliens or Atlanteans and everybody else, but I think we could very much Italy. In 1774, the linear jar, the concept for the first linear jar, was arrived independently by Dutch Mosker Charlenborg and Colin Klein and German scientist Edward Gorodek von Kleist. It was essentially a capacitor to store a charge between two metal plates. So we can build things, and we can build things on our own. We don't need no freaking thing. And so what? I mean, when you think about it, okay, so say this was a battery or wasn't a battery, all right? Whatever your belief in. Say it was a battery. What does it really prove? All right, some guy in his laboratory came up with the idea of a battery, was able to shoot a little charge out, and it's like people said, oh, wow, that's great. But like you said, what did he use it for? They didn't have a use for it, so it just died.
Again, this is Tales of Time Forgotten.
Yeah.
And this is dated March 8th, 2020. Again, all this nonsense about the so-called Bad Dag Battery is supposedly evidence for a prehistoric civilization with modern levels of technology.
They always got to bend it that way. That's what ticks me off.
Which is really irrelevant because the so-called Bad Dag Battery is not a battery at all. We know this because it bears very close resemblance to objects with an identifiable purpose found by a team of archaeologists from the University of Michigan in 1930 in the sites of Seleucia, not far from Baghdad. The objects found at Seleucia look almost like the so-called Bad Dag batteries, but we know they were, in fact, used to hold papyrus scrolls because they contain remnants of papyrus scrolls when they're excavated. The scroll holders from Seleucia consisted of a metal rod that the scroll would be wrapped around with a tube inside a ceramic pot that the scroll to be slid inside for protection. Most likely, the so-called Bad Dag battery is just a scroll container. The scroll was meant to be wrapped around the iron rod, slid into a copper tube, and then slipped inside the ceramic container, which would then be sealed to protect the scroll inside. The acidic residue on the inside of the container most likely comes from the papyrus or parchment of the scroll that the pot once contained, since papyrus and parchment are both slightly acidic. Eventually, the scroll decomposed, leaving the acidic residue behind. The container was found by someone at some point and somehow wound up in the hands of Koenig, who did not recognize the object as a scroll container and speculated that it was an ancient battery. Thus, the whole legend of the so-called Bad Dag battery was born.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, they did an episode of Mythbusters on it, too.
They did?
Yeah. Now, I'm sure some people are already getting ready to cite Mythbusters to me and say, but Mythbusters tested the Bad Dag battery and found that it worked. It is true that Mythbusters was able to create electricity using devices modeled on the Bad Dag battery, but there are also a lot of problems and caveats that need to be pointed out. And then we can go on. I don't know if you want to get into that.
Go ahead.
Most notably, the Mythbusters started out with the assumption that the so-called Bad Dag battery was used as a battery, even though we have no evidence to suggest that it was. Then we tried to test how effective this battery might have been. In other words, they didn't show the so-called Bad Dag battery was actually used as a battery. They only showed that it's possible for people today to make batteries that look like the object from Baghdad. Furthermore, Mythbusters had to make a lot of modifications to get their Bad Dag batteries to work. They had to fill their batteries with an electrolyte solution, but we don't actually have any solid evidence that the actual Bad Dag battery was filled with such a solution. All we know is that there was some acidic residue which could have been left by all kinds of things, including decomposing papyrus or parchment. The Mythbusters also found one battery that only produced about 1/3 of a volt of low current. In order to get the batteries to do anything productive at all, they had to wire multiples of them together. There is no evidence, however, that the actual ancient Bad Dag battery was ever wired to another such device. In fact, no wiring of any kind whatsoever seems to have been found in association with the so-called battery. Meanwhile, with a whole bunch of batteries all wired together, the Mythbusters were only able to produce a relatively small amount of electricity. A set of 10 batteries put together was only able to produce about 4 volts. This is hardly a high standard of effectiveness.
Who said it has to be effective? Where does that come from, by the way? I'm just curious.
TalesOfTimesForgotten.com.
Okay. And so, as I mentioned earlier, I'm trying to say, okay, it's possible that the Bad Dag battery was a battery and that accidents happen is how, I mean, the microwave oven was invented by accident. There's a lot more inventions that were invented by accident. So maybe it was a pilot's thing at one else and something happened, whether the guy screwed it up. So maybe I'll put this liquid in to preserve the pyrosis, and all of a sudden it produced electricity or whatever, a shock from it. We won't say electricity, it produced a shock.
Well,
a flow of electrons. So
ancient Egyptians scuffed their sandals across a rug and probably created a shock for somebody.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they created electricity.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But as early as 1700, we already have the capacitor. So, as I mentioned just earlier, a number of these capacitors, these jars, by the way, could be connected in parallel to form a battery, which is pretty much what a car battery is. And the term was coined by our good friend, Ben Franklin, to raise the potential of a stored charge. So they connected them together, which makes sense. See, I mean, it's logical progression. In 1800, the first electrochemical cell by Alice Roscoe Volta was invented, and the copper zinc volatile pile, for which Napoleon made him a count for. So in other words, he invented it and he got it. The first battery, however, this is the first battery. However, Volta incorrectly believed that electromotive forces originated between the contact of the two metals and form. Yeah, okay. So this is a fairly reputable site. I will quote it as the Green Tech Media. And it goes into energy storage. So.
Well, again, whether the Babylonians created a vessel, they created a small charge.
Yes.
I mean,
it could be by accident. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's entirely possible.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the intent of it. And it wasn't, quote unquote, a battery. It was something that created an electrical charge.
Right. Because it created electrical charge. Right?
Again, you scuff yourself across the rug, you store a charge.
Yeah.
And you discharge it when you touch somebody.
Right.
It's not your intent. It's not an invention. It's not technology. It's nature more than anything else.
Well, I think it's technology. I think it's an invention. Invention is...
Well, it isn't an invention if you don't intend it. We go back to the whole Columbus thing. Columbus discovered America. Columbus died not knowing where he was.
Yeah.
Where he landed. He didn't discover America. He crashed into an island and misjudged where he was. It's not a discovery. And if an unintentional invention is not an invention, especially at that time.
That's discovery. That's what it is all about. So whether it's you're kind of mixing up two different things, but that's fine.
But I mean,
discovery
intent has to be a part of this.
No, not necessarily. No? That's absolutely wrong. As I just mentioned earlier, the microwave oven was invented by accident, and there are many, many other things that were invented by accident. I mean, we look at Sir Isaac Newton and the old apple falling off the tree.
Yeah,
I mean, that was an accident. He just sits there. Oh, I wonder what happens if that apple's going to fall.
But the microwave, this guy melted some chocolates in his pocket
by accident.
And
he said
that wasn't the intended use of the device, but he discovered it and used it and brought it forward.
Yes.
The Babylonians didn't do anything with this. They didn't power their cell phones with it. They didn't
have cell phones. They didn't have a use for it. They didn't have a use for it. So if there's no use for it, supply and demand, you ain't gonna supply it anyway.
They didn't know it existed. They didn't know what electricity was. They had no use for it. It was totally off the radar to them.
Yeah, I'm still not getting your point.
So it's calling it a battery implies intent.
No. Why do you say that? Implies intent?
Because again, there's a number of different ways you can produce electricity.
If something works the same as something else, we call it that. If, for instance, if we drink Pepsi Cola, we might call it a Coke because Coke was out there. We drank Cokes. They were popular. That's what it's called. It's not a Kleenex is any tissue. It's what it is. A battery is something that produces electricity, whether it's intentional or not. I mean, static electricity. So
a potato is a battery.
It can be a battery if you make a battery with it to produce electricity. And if there is intent in building something, no, that's not going to work either.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying with that. So yeah, I get that point of it, but you can invent something by accident.
But calling it a battery, calling it the Babylon battery, the Baghdad battery,
because we have something that we can compare it to. We have something that exists already now in the future, which is called a battery. This was very much similar to a battery.
I've got it, but it implies.
No, it doesn't imply.
It implies something that's incorrect.
No, you're implying it. Other people are implying it, but it can be invented for what it is. In other words, it's invented. That was what it was. They don't know what it was at the time. They didn't call it a battery because we know that Benjamin Franklin coined the name battery. So it was invented. Who knows what they called it, but it doesn't matter. And it could, and in all fairness, They could say, oh, wow, look at this. You know, it's like, what are we going to do with it? Nothing. And there it died. You know, it was invented by accident, but it had no use. There are other things that have been invented. And of course, I can't remember off the top of my head of anything other than that radar range, which I keep bringing up. But really, they have been invented by accident, and they weren't used for anything, so they just died. And then they were reinvented years later. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But as far as, ancient
intellectually dishonest. Because it implies that the Babylonians had electricity, that the Egyptians had electricity, and no, they didn't.
No, it doesn't imply anything. It implies what that is. That gives a name to something that existed. What are you going to call it?
The cavemen had static electricity in their loincloths.
What are you going to call it?
Whatever it was, a scroll keeper. It's not a battery.
How do you know that? What we name it is what we name it. It's not.
Okay,
we're not getting anywhere.
I'm uncomfortable with the implications.
Excuse me?
I'm uncomfortable with the implications of it being a battery.
It's giving a name to something. That's all it is, from the future.
Yeah, it's
to the
revisionist
past.
history is what it is.
If you say so.
Yeah.
They had a device that, I don't know.
So
I still think that
everything that created static electricity back to the beginning of time is a battery by that definition.
In reality, it is, yeah. If it's something that, well, not really.
Yeah.
I take that back. Static generator more than a battery. So if you rub on cat hair, you can shut it.
Listen, if you've got your mammoth loincloth on, and you're walking across the field, and you stored up this electricity until you touch somebody else.
How do you figure that?
You've stored electricity. What? Static electricity.
Yeah, static electricity doesn't happen all the time.
It's electricity that's created.
You need certain conditions.
And it's stored.
You need certain conditions.
So don't you for this Baghdad battery, quote unquote.
Which, whatever. All right.
Come on, didn't you go get your sister with static electricity?
Yeah.
Intentionally?
So I want you to go out there, go barefoot and put on a loincloth and walk across a field and tell me if you can produce electricity, because I don't think you can.
Okay, I mean, that's fair enough.
We know very well that you can walk across a rug without producing static electricity. We know that.
Oh, I know.
Otherwise, we'd be electrocuting ourselves all the time.
But you can produce
You can produce it, right. So what happens when you produce it?
You discharge it.
Yeah, but what's that called?
Producing and storing energy and discharging it. They had electricity. You had electricity.
Is there a use for it?
Yes.
Yes.
To annoy somebody.
Sister.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I don't know. It's funny, but
yeah,
I totally get your point.
We're dealing with semantics here. I mean, because just anything that implicates that this was an intentional and the civilization had electricity is just stretching the point.
Okay, so
in my mind,
according to this battery, by the way, we're going back to the original Baghdad. This was the first battery as we know it, according to this guy. Basically, a clay jar with not iron, as your thing said, a copper cylinder.
No, he said copper. They said copper.
They said iron.
They said copper as well.
I don't remember that. Probably surrounded by lemon juice or something like that. I'm just accused.
The screw was meant to be wrapped around the iron rod, slid inside the copper tube, and then slipped inside the ceramic container, which then could be sealed to protect the seal.
Okay, all right. Supposedly discovered in the 16-inch clay was sealed in bituminous and contained a copper cylinder surrounded by an iron rod. A number of similar specimens have been found. Experiments conducted which demonstrate that the vessel, when filled with a liquid electrolyte, could act as a electrochemical cell. It has been speculated these cells might be able to electroplate an item. Might be able to, or as an igniter, and we all have those for our grill.
Yep.
Just saying. All right. So, anyways, that's the end of the show, I guess, huh?
Yes.
All right. So, anyways, we hope you got a charge out of the show.
Oh, there was no need for that.
Oh, yes, it was. I couldn't lend it like that in such bad blood. Anyways, we want to thank everyone for listening and tuning in next week. And anything else we got? That's it, huh?
Nope, just catch the show on all the podcast outlets. Check out Ghost Chronicles Radio on Patreon for premium stuff and things like that. Check out Spirit Quest at New England Ghost Project.
After 1 year, you get the Ghost Chronicles magazine, and we have somebody on there now who's about to get one. So
Nice.
Yeah. So anyways, it's never been seen before. So check us out. Go to anyghostproject.com. Find out about Spirit Quest and a whole bunch of other stuff. anyghostproject.com. Good night. God bless.
From ghoulies to ghosties, long-leggedy beasties, and things that go bump in the night. Deliver us, good Lord.